Good evening. This is MC Motorsports broadcasting live from Lime Rock Park with the Worldwide Racing League Truck Series. We're starting to wrap up the back end of the regular season, getting the first road course on the schedule out of the way here tonight. I'm Jonathan Casebeer, and alongside me, as always, is Michael Matta. Matta, we got the first road course of the season here, and it's at a track that a lot of leagues that run NASCAR stuff don't typically go to. Got the Grand Prix layout of Lime Rock Park.
And I think we're seeing this just because these guys are going here this year. I think it's kind of showing up on everybody's radar that runs the NASCAR stuff. It's a home track for me. I live here in Connecticut, so definitely cool to see that these guys are coming here, and especially the league coming here.
Looking at roughly 16 drivers registered to run this race. One of the big notables of the night is Tyler Johnson. At this point in the season, he cannot miss any more races to keep that playoff eligibility. So showing up here tonight does keep him eligible, and we'll see if he can make the rest of the regular season after this. We got under 5 minutes left in practice. Top time is Will Moore. And Will at the top of the road course. He's been a really good closer at the ovals. But a quick lap time here to road course, see if he's got it in him.
Yeah, we don't really know who the road course ringers are, if there are any, or if it's just going to be the same as like every other week, just the same guys being fast. I guess we'll find out pretty quick once this thing gets rolling. This track is fairly simple. It's a lot of elevation change, but the corners are pretty straightforward. But the real big point where I see a lot of people make a mistake as we look on here is right here with turn one. It's very deceptive. It's very easy to overdrive it and go into the grass out there. The braking zone's a lot bigger than you think it would be. You think you can carry a lot more speed, but it just doesn't work. There's no grip in that corner, and you'll slide right off really easily. As we get through these little back and forths here, we get to a small bit of an S section, then a chicane. And this is tough too, because there are the big turtles. You don't want to hit those on either side. That'll really upset the truck. And then from here on, the rest of the lap's pretty straightforward. A little bit of an uphill. A nice easy right turn. You can get pretty loose there. And then a downhill into another right-hander. And that'll bring you right to the start-finish line. So, a pretty quick lap here. Very easy to familiar yourself with the track.
Yeah, one of those major points of passing is probably going to be down into the little chicane before the uphill. It's a heavy braking zone and be a good spot to try and get to somebody's inside.
Yeah, there in turn one. I think everywhere else is just kind of going to be just make your way around the track nice and easy. I know the final two corners are they're not full out, but there's a lot of throttle through there, so it's hard to pass through there. Really, turn 9, the last corner, you really want to set it up to have the best run you can down into turn 1. You really want to give up as much as you can on entry and get a huge run down turn 1, even though it's one of the shorter straightaways on a road course. This track in and of itself is only 1.5 miles, so it is a typical length for a cookie cutter track, but it's anything but with right turns involved.
Absolutely, and looking at the entry list, a couple of possible first-timer, very few names. You got Brandon Wallace in the 99, Andrew Kiesler, looks like, in the 18. A couple of names we don't see a whole lot of. Everybody else we are quite familiar with.
And Kiesler there, I don't remember his truck, looks new. Maybe it's just a new paint scheme, but it looks great.
We're down to the last minute and a half of practice. Will Moore, Mark Cofield have what looks like extremely similar lap times, I think. Let's see what those lap times were. A little less than 10th separating those top two. Jonathan Cofield just took the fastest lap right there. Jonathan is following his dad Mark around the track for quite some time now.
Man, these guys, they like to work together whenever they can. Father-son duo. It makes it easy when you got a teammate on track, and even easier when you got family on track.
And there we saw a heavy lockup out of Mark Cofield into that little chicane there. That's going to be quite common throughout the course of the night. Here's Anthony Camarada running the very familiar number 71. Doesn't change that truck at all. Same with Jeffrey Smith from the 96. Runs the same paint scheme here every single week.
What's Will Moore running this week?
Will Moore this week, not currently on track.
I guess we'll find out.
About qualifying time. My guess is something to do with Dale Earnhardt.
Usually what it is.
It's usually what it is. It's a pretty safe bet. This practice is closing up here. We'll select Will Moore's name for when he gets on track. We'll see his truck first thing.
Oh, there it is.
Number 8, Budweiser.
Bud 8.
Such a classic paint scheme that is.
Stands out really well, too, for us commentators.
Translates really well between, Cup car, Xfinity car, truck, late models. It's really simple and iconic.
So these guys will take this first lap pretty easy. Just warm up the tires, get a feel for the track. I mean, the track temp right now is 123. This track is extremely hot right now. There has to be little to no grip out there. So warming up those tires is going to be key, not only for qualifying, but during those first few laps. If you don't, you're going to be all over the place.
Moore's kept the wheels underneath him this entire out lap coming to. Is this the first?
This is his first coming up right here. Pretty short laps for a road course, just under a minute, so that's where we expect the times to be, somewhere right under a minute, few seconds under that. But right now, this lap looks pretty good. He's not really fighting the car at all, really letting it roll. No real issues yet.
With laps being under a minute, we can expect under an hour and a half on race time. We're not going to get any yellow flags. There's just going to be localized yellows.
Well, don't say there won't be any yellow flags yet. There might be some kind of stack up in turn 1 or that chicane. It's definitely possible, but with the fact of the huge runoffs here, I think even if we get a bigger pileup, there's a chance that they might just keep it green. It's safety not being a factor, and just the idea of the track being blocked. As he comes out, runs a 58.02, gets loose.
Lap 2 ruined in turn 1 for Will Moore's. Jonathan Cofield's first lap was a 57.78.
It's a quick one. See him through the chicane, really using it up, trying to use all the track. He gets in the grass, and it kills his braking zone. That's going to get rid of his lap 2.
I believe this is the back end of lap 2 for Andrew in the 18.
Yep, coming to the last lap here.
First lap. 58.19. 58 flat. Good enough for a current P4. Buddy Mark Cofield with a 57.3 at the top of the board. Anthony Camarada with a current P2 at a 57.4.
I believe Zapata's coming to his first lap, or just finished his first lap. 57.556, locks it up going into turn 1. It's probably going to ruin this lap for him, but he's going to keep trying. He goes off track. That's going to ruin his lap.
Up on board with Jeremiah Holt. First lap was a minute 4.9. Definitely a nice take it easy lap there.
I think he's on his 3rd lap right now. I think he's just getting practice in.
Looks like some of these guys are running a little extra.
And with it being a road course, especially the first one, you don't want to be the guy who misses turn 1 or misses the chicane or really just goes off track in general. So they'll take all the practice they can get. I'm sure some of these guys will practice pit road entry. Although I'm not sure, fuel's got to be pretty close on if they can make it or not. On no stops or 1 stop. It's at least, it's either 1 stop or no stop. This track is only 1.5 miles.
We can see Charles Irwin here. Doesn't appear he's made the start of any lap yet. Something we didn't even comment on in the moment. Jonathan Gofield actually qualified.
Oh yeah. I wonder if
he's trying to come out swinging.
I wonder if he'll ask to start him back or if he's just gonna go for it here. Being a road course. Ooh, he really had to get that car slowed down to turn it through those S's. And that lap wasn't great. I'm sure he's going to try one more.
I think that was the start of lap 1. I think
Ah,
that was
okay.
his out lap. He had restarted his out lap. That
And
could be an off track there, possibly.
Something I know that is going to happen is I believe Keith Ayers is going to start from the back for a penalty from, I think it's last week. But that is something we'll have to watch. See, he gets that much better this time. I want to make that as straight as possible. Coming through 8 and then down the hill to the last corner 9. Just see how much speed they carry through there. About 100 mile an hour through there, and then down the front stretch, right at the end of it, they'll hit about 160 with a good run. Right there, not a bad lap for Irwin. 97.905, 57.905. This lap looks a lot smoother. Definitely has a little bit more exit speed out of 9. We'll see if it translates to a better lap time.
Up to P2, 57.14.
Good lap from him. There's someone who would love to get a little more points tonight.
Still got about 6.5 minutes on the clock for qualifying. There are 4 drivers who have not been out any times. Does not appear that they will.
I think they're waiting to see if Will Moore is going to go. He's sitting on track, but he hasn't gone yet. Or we saw him go first, so I don't know.
Yeah, Will Moore
I know they're talking.
completed.
Oh, there we go. Will Moore just advanced the session, so everybody's done their qualifying lap, even with 6 minutes left. This is a quick track, so everybody got it done. We're going to head right into the race.
I'm going to pull up our qualifying results. Mark Cofield gets the pole. Got a 56.881 on the lap time. Charles Irwin, Anthony Camarada up there in the top 3. Irwin and Camarada really not high qualifiers typically. They're a little more mid, not top 5, but maybe like the 7th place in there. But Camarada coming in for a P3 for Fatal. His teammate Javier Zapata in P4. Keith Ayers up in P5. We got Andrew. Not gonna try and butcher that name too much all night. I just call him Andrew. P6. Will Moore there in P7. Kevin Stanley, Brandon Wallace, Jade Feathers rounding out the top 10. And we got no time back from 11th to 16th. There's no time listed next to Cofield.
I wonder if he headed out and then stopped his lap before he could finish it.
Yeah, 16 drivers on the list.
Oh, I remember. I believe we saw him. He was trying that lap and then hit the grass and gave up on it, going through the chicane there.
75 laps on board here for this extremely short road course compared to most. You see the Porsche safety car at the front of the field here.
Yeah, and we're looking at about an hour and say 8 minutes from the time the green flag drops. So this is really a sprint race for these guys. Usually we're looking at about an hour and a half, 2 hours for races. So there's not a lot of time. I mean, it's a 1.5 mile track. There's only 2 real passing zones, maybe 3 if you're lucky. So I feel like this is really going to be about track position and just racing hard on this restart or this start. Get as many as you can and play some good defense.
So we're gonna start rolling away here. Pace lap
Start rolling
starts halfway through the lap, coming down into the
Yep.
final set of corners.
Right at the top of the hill here, gonna come down in between 8 and 9, and then pace car will pull off and they'll get going on the straightaway. And Keith Ayers gonna get that EOL penalty, so it'll be fun to see him try and get back through the field.
Heading down the front stretch. Zach accelerating. Good jump from Mark Cofield.
See him spread out through this first turn. Using the whole thing. That's the thing. You can use the whole width of that corner. You don't need the inside or outside. Actually, using the outside, as we can see for Zapata, gives him the inside for this corner. But then it gives it right back to Stanley. As Zapata goes off track a little bit.
Wide under the grass. There's a good chunk of spots off of that one.
And that's something I forgot to mention. Ooh, it was a big check up ahead. Everybody's on the brakes hard. No contact. Everybody makes it through clean.
75, extremely squirrely back there. Jake
I know
Phelps.
he hit that turtle pretty hard, but there shouldn't be that much damage. Maybe it hurt the car just a little bit. We can see Lamb get off a little bit.
Nicholas Lamb wide into the grass. Man, that just kills all momentum. We got a car coming out of the pits already.
Looks like Tyler Johnson.
Tyler Johnson. Good to see that truck back on track, even if he continues to have the incorrect number on it. And almost identical paint scheme. It is identical paint scheme. Car behind Nicholas Lamb.
And something we didn't mention in practice is if you take the outside in turn one, you can, and all the way around that big bend, you can get the inside to 3 and then kind of try to get a run and maybe get the outside of 4 and get a run all the way through to the bus stop there. No, not really a bus stop, it's a chicane, but you look at the leaders.
Gap at the front as the fight for P2 continues. Got an issue for Tyler Johnson. See an off track. Heard a motor blow somewhere.
Right now, I don't see anybody stopped on track yet. Whoa, Camerata goes wide.
Way overshoots that one.
He's probably gonna have he's probably gonna have a little bit of time penalty there. He's probably gonna have to give a little bit up.
Lamb and Jade Feathers had a little off-track excursion at the same part up through the S's uphill.
That's the thing about Lime Rock is there's a lot of runoff. Even if you go off track, you can still keep racing. I mean, ooh, tight racing right there. As Lamb goes around.
There goes Lamb after contact with Feathers.
And like I was saying, that happened, but they go off track a little bit, and there's no walls. They just get in the grass and they keep on rolling. So Lamb did spin, but he's gonna lose some spots, but his truck is still in good shape. So that's the good thing.
Back to the front as Mark Cofield continues to lead here on lap 4.
A really good battle from second on back all the way through 7th right now. Camerata, even with that slide, is still right behind the 7 of Irwin. As it finally starts to spread out just a little bit. A little more looked inside there, but didn't quite take it.
Looks like a new paint scheme on the 5 of Kevin Stanley Jr. this week.
Yeah, looks good. Wow, he really ate that curb right there. You could hear the truck bottom out. Ooh, the 7 gets loose in front of Camerata. It's going to bring the 8 right into play. This is a 3-car battle for second place.
Mark Cofield has absolutely checked out.
Ooh, the 8 gets right into the bumper of the 71. He's going to way off track. He's going to lose a spot to Jonathan Cofield. We've got a pass on the inside to turn 1 coming up here. 17 going to try and battle back on the outside.
Keith Ayers, Jade Feathers on a group, and there goes Keith off track a little bit there.
Them going side by side right there did not work. It pushed him just a little bit wide.
Mark Cofield has lost
97 off base.
back to P3. Had an incident.
I don't see any damage on the truck. He must have just gone off.
Charles Irwin will take the lead with anything coming out at P2. Extremely impressive run so far from the driver of the 71.
And it must have been a pretty big mess up because he had like 3, 4, maybe 5 seconds on second place, and he's fallen all the way back into third. You see, Camerata is really using every bit of those turtles right there. And it's gaining him time. It's working. You see him right in the back bumper of the leader.
If there's anything I've picked up on just being in the WRL community, is Anthony Camarado is a very, very big IndyCar fan. So you must have really good experience just road course racing in general. To be up here challenging for what is now the lead with Charles Irwin.
100%. As you see, the 97 going back to the outside of Jonathan right there, trying to make it work, but they're still side by side. The 97 is going to slide a little bit, and he's going to get loose. He's going to hit the grass. He's going to hold on to it. He's going to keep rolling, but he's going to lose some spots to Will Moore.
Zapata into the picture as well. If he was pushing too hard and was overcooked those tires.
Yeah, I wonder if he spun and it spun on track when it did go off and his tires are just hurting. That battle for the lead's heating back up again. They're not side by side, but bumper to bumper. Camarado looks like he's so much better under braking, but then the 7 just pulls away on the corner exits. So we got a car slow in the bus stop back in 13th place.
Issue for the 75. Check back in on Mark Cofield. Here's Zapata with P5. So here comes Jonathan Cofield in P3, challenging for P2.
Yeah, and we knew Jonathan Cofield was great on ovals, and it seems like he's just great here on road courses too, as he's making his way through the field, slicing through it like butter. And he's right there in third. I think it would have been a little bit harder if Mark was still up there, but first place is right there in front of him.
Zapata has gotten by Mark. Mark's fallen all the way back to 6th. Unfortunate fall off for the 97.
We say that we're already 10 laps in. Already past 10% of the race done. This race is going to be quick. These guys got to make their moves now before it gets too spread out. As we see the front 4 all within a camera shot. Wow, the 71.
Big chunk of the curb kicked him around a little bit.
Yeah, and that's really the difference between the 71 and the 7 right now. The 71 is really jumping over the curves. The 7's playing a little more aggressive. But we saw what happens if you hit him wrong with Will Moore. It just sends the truck. But Camarada has it really figured out down there. And he kind of loses his time all over the track, but he gains every bit of it back through that chicane. Ooh, he sends it wide. He's in the grass. He's rolling through the grass. He's still going. And it's going to be tough to get that back, but we've seen he's quick in that bus stop. We'll see if he can gain it back. That's going to bring Jonathan Cofield up to second, chasing on the back of the 7.
Andrew in the 18 ended up going off track, back on track, and then jumped to the pits on the back end of lap 10.
And right in front of these guys, Jeremiah Holt off track through the bus stop, or the chicane there. Quite a bit off pace, getting out of the way of the leaders.
Charles Irwin continues to lead now. He's trying to fight back after driving through the grass on the wide side of turn 1.
Camarada now, he just has to try and cool the tires off, take his time, and right there, the 8 goes around. The 71 was lucky to take that corner wide. It could have ended a lot worse.
Back near the front, Jonathan Cofield continues to challenge to the lead.
Ooh, and Zapata gets up next to the 8 back there. .58's all over his bumper. He gets a little loose there. Charles Irwin does not want to give up this lead. It's so much easier at a road course to play defense than it is to play offense, especially when the guy behind is faster. Just look how much more he dives it in. You see that closing rate on corner entry. And Charles Irwin right now is driving as hard as he can to keep the 58 behind him. He knows if the 58 gets by him, he's most likely going to pull away. .58 takes it wide. He's going to straighten this out as much as he can. He might get a run. And he is. He's going to get to his inside, get right around him.
You saw the difference in lines there. You said Cofield.
And the 7's going to go to his inside.
Wide.
He's going to give it up. He has to lift a little bit.
Like you said, Cofield took the entrance into the S's and uphill wider than Charles did, and got that run at the top of the hill down into the downhill portion.
Yeah, I was saying these guys want to straighten up that chicane as much as possible. You saw the 58 do it. You saw him go all the way almost into the grass. And when he turned right, he had almost a straight shot up the hill. The 7's trying everything, but I think he's going to have to find a little bit more if he wants to try to get back by the 58. Kind of running his mirror. Maybe he'll make a mistake, but we've seen how good Cofield is. He just doesn't really make too many mistakes.
Checking with Zapata and Camarada for P3.
Javier Zapata has a lot of speed right now. He got past Will Moore a couple laps ago, and you see him, he's trying to make a move on the 71. 71 goes off track, and it's going to let the 24 by.
He's inside as well.
Talking about how there wasn't many passing zones, so that just means if you make a mistake and someone gets by you in not a passing zone, in those sections it's all about momentum. We've seen it with Mark Cofield, and I'm wondering if he has a little bit of damage on the truck, just the way it's driving right now.
Checking with Mark Cofield on the back end of the Camarada, a little more fight just in front of Kevin Stanley.
Ooh, the 8 gets around. It's going to cause a stack up.
71 the 8 stopped, and hopefully not too much in the way of traffic.
Oh, the 97 has a lot of right front damage. He plowed into the back of those guys. It looked like the 8 just wheel hopped the rears, and it got him around, and then nowhere for the 71 to go. And the same with the 97. The 5 might have gotten lucky there. The 5's going to shoot his way inside here with the 97 having that damage. Here comes the 8 and then the 71. I don't think these guys have too much damage. I think it's just all on the 97. Really got the short end of the stick there.
Yeah, we look at the right front of the 97, you can see all the damage there.
You can see he sends it there. It just doesn't really stick, almost going off track.
Javier Zapata had a little bit of an off track. All by himself right now in P3.
Zapata right now, he's really far away from P2 and really far away from P4 after that incident. So he's really just in a ride mode right now, hoping it just stays how it is. Those guys ahead kind of maybe fall back to him. The guys behind don't catch him. As that incident really spread the field out. That was all right.
Here on lap 17.
Looks like he has a little bit of damage there on the front of the truck. Oh, definitely on the back side.
A little more ended off track in turn
1. 71 is putting tires on it right now, lefts and rights. Pulling out of his box, coming back on track. right next to the leaders, so it looks like you are going to lose a lap. Not that it matters too much. I don't think we'll get a caution, but if we do, there's that to think about. You're going to lose a lap if you pit.
Jonathan Cofield continues to lead. Got a good chunk on Charles Irwin. Look at the cockpit here. You can see just the top of the hill there is the leader.
And he's starting to fall back just a little bit. It seems like a road course ringer. Jonathan Cofield now. He's not just good at ovals. It seems like he's really good at the road courses too. So he's going to be a threat everywhere going forward for the rest of the season.
At this point, I'm not
It
sure
looks
there's
like-
anything these guys can do to stop Jonathan Cofield. They could almost put Eldor on the schedule and go out there and dominate it.
Well, you say that, and I see the 71 right now going by him. He just took 4 tires after 17 laps, and he's not that much faster. He's about 5/10 quicker, which isn't gonna. If they don't have to take tires, it's not gonna win you the race. But if everybody's got to take tires, the 71's gonna gain a little bit of time here. And I said playing defense is a little bit easier on a road course than playing offense. And if he ends up cycling back up near the front, he could hold on to that long run. Closest battle on the track right now is going to be for 8th and 9th. They're about a second apart, but not much going on there. Brandon Wallace, someone we haven't talked about at all really today. The 75 goes through turn 1 again. He's going to hit the outside wall. Just tap it at least. He's having a rough day here at Lime Rock. Not treating him well at all. But he's still out here, still riding. But I mean, quite
Extremely
frankly,
smart and safe region, though.
yeah.
Well, as there's not a whole lot going on, I can touch on something we didn't get to in practice or qualifying. That is the point standings. We're trying to do a little bit of side-by-side racing and points. So Jonathan Cofield has worked his way up to the top with 31 total playoff points and 5 wins on the season. Not regular season points leader even after all that, because he started late, came in and has to still make every race to the playoffs to be eligible, and definitely continues that here tonight. Tanner Coster is down in P2, still currently holds his playoff spot. Haven't seen the driver of that truck in a few weeks. So here coming up soon, the eligibility for the driver to make the playoffs will go away. And they'll playoff spot down to
Oh, the 17 gets into 75 in turn 1. The 7, I don't know what happened there, but the 17 hit the 75 really hard in the quarter panel. Sorry to interrupt there, but that was a really big moment.
It's all good. You can see it there, but 75 being a slower car. Definitely unfortunate. It's in the front. The 17's pushed in just a little bit. But back on the points, yeah, Tanner Coster real close to losing eligibility just by not making enough races. Haven't seen him for a couple weeks.
Yeah, we talk about Coster and what's his name? Tyler Johnson. Those are 2 really fast guys that might not be able to make the playoffs if they don't show up. So that's going to open the door for some of the guys who are just missing out. So definitely, like you said, something to watch.
Yeah, you got Nicholas Lamb and Javier Zapata, 3 and 4 in the playoff standings, both 2 wins apiece. Got 17 and 15 playoff points. Will Moore finally locked into the playoffs with a win at Pocono. Not a lot of playoff points there. Tyler Johnson keeps playoff eligibility alive with being at Lime Rock. And then down by the cut line, you see like Anthony Camarada, Matthew McDonald, some of those guys that are right there on the cut line. It's going to be a little bit easier for Camarada at the moment, seeing as I don't think Matthew McDonald or Kyle Lawver have showed up for a minute.
I didn't see them.
But Jade Feathers is outside looking in. Back there, good chunk out of the points, but if two of those drivers that are locked in get knocked out, that's going to bring it that much easier for Jade to get in. And then other drivers that not here tonight, they might not be Road Force fans, might only be out for the ovals. Like Reginald Harris, Brian O'Toole, Brandon Alessi, they're quite a ways out, might win to get in, even with some of those drivers. But still plenty of spots open.
And these guys know winning you're in. I mean, if you can beat Jonathan Cofield, I mean, you're locked into the playoffs, especially if you're outside looking in. And these guys have proven that anybody in the field can win. These guys, right in front of the leader, the 71 gets around in the bus stop. Not too much in the way, but still going. But as I was saying, even the guys near the bottom of the leaderboard in points, they can still win a race. These guys are all pretty stacked up when it comes to ovals, so it's still open for anybody. Looks like the 97 has just come off pit road, made a pit stop there.
Yes, we've got 25 laps complete. We're on lap 25 currently. Another thing that we have forgot to touch on is this is the final race in the Dash for Cash.
Oh yeah.
So I do.
And one of our winners for that isn't even here.
Well, so Tyler Johnson was the week 1 winner, got the most points there. Did not show up for the second race, I don't think it was. Is here tonight, but is out. So no chance to win that. Will Moore, one of the lower totals in points. Reginald Harris, they got low point totals from the first 2 races. Anthony Camarada, not that solid in the first race, decent second race, has 7 total points. Jeffrey Smith, really solid in both the first 2 races, 13 points, is a point ahead of Keith Ayers and Kevin Stanley Jr. And then Javier Zapata with 8 total points is about 5 points back. So this fight is really going to come down to Jeffrey Smith and Kevin Stanley. And I don't think Zapata could possibly.
Zapata is the best running right now, but it was really about the first 2 races they ran. As on track, we got a nice little battle for 6th and 7th. Nicholas Lamb, Keith Ayers heating up. Looks like Keith Ayers is a little bit quicker than Lamb right now. Even with that little bit of damage.
Jeffrey Smith down pit road.
So it looks like these guys are going to have to make 1 stop. So that's something to look at. Something I was noticing, I was saying the 71 was a little bit quicker than Jonathan Cofield when he took tires, but that quickly faded. I think you can really overheat the tires here. Camarada ended up being almost 2 seconds slower than Jonathan Cofield after a few laps. So looks like Jonathan's really holding on to his tires, and they can be overheated really quick if you're not careful. Jonathan Cofield is still running low 58-second laps, and some of these other guys a little further back are running up in the low 1 minute flats. Oh, the 5 goes off. The 5 goes off in turn 4. No, didn't hit the wall. I think the 97 got into him a little bit. He's still going to keep it rolling, but he's going to lose a spot.
Will Moore with a little bit of an off-road excursion as well. Javier Zapata down pit lane.
Down pit road, yep. That's from 3rd place. I wonder if anybody's going to do a no tire call. I don't think anybody's close enough to really do that. Maybe Zapata, but I just think you're going to want some tires. The track is still 119 degrees, still really hot. I don't know if it's just because of lap traffic, but the 7 is a little bit quicker than Jonathan Cofield right now. Not by much, but
.30 of 75 in the books. Jonathan Cofield up 10 spots from the starting position into the lead. Has not came down pit road yet. Same for Charles Irwin.
and right behind Charles.
Nicholas Lamke there is also yet to come down.
Right behind Charles Irwin is that battle for the guys who have already pit with Mark Cofield, Anthony Camerata. Those guys have both pit. They're both on new tires. Mark Cofield just a little bit newer. So it's a little bit of a gauge. It looks like they're being held up a little bit by the 7 on old tires. Will Moore pulls off pit road. He's gonna join this battle right here into turn 1. A little bit behind, but this battle for everybody who's pit is starting to heat up. But these guys still have over half the race left. The shade is starting to come out. Track's going to cool down just a little bit if this shade stays. So taking tires here might not have been a bad call if the shade stays. I think if that sun comes back out, it's going to be a long while before the end of the race if they're pitting this early.
Jonathan Cofield making his pit stop.
Yep. Wonder if the 2 follows him down. The second place is going to follow him down now. And Charles Irwin, I think he has just about the same speed as Jonathan Cofield on the long run, but we saw Jonathan really get up and pass him and then just stay there. He pulled away a little bit, but I think if Irwin can just stay there for a few more laps, I think he has a chance to win this race.
So both trucks are taking 4 tires.
Javier Zapata did get by Charles Irwin during that pit stop. although still 10 seconds back from Jonathan Cofield. Ooh, Camerata misses the bus stop, the chicane, and Cofield's gonna get by him. He just locked up those front brakes. You see the sun coming back out. Will Moore's gonna get by Kevin Stanley, almost. Right behind. This battle for 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th is a really good one. Actually, Jeffrey Smith's not even part of it. He's another lap down. See the 37 really have to turn the wheel there. He's going to lose a lot of time. Jeffrey Smith gets a little loose entering the chicane there, or turn 3. Gets off track, keeps rolling though. Oh, the 8 gets off right there. Oh, the 71!
Oh, Camerata
It hit the wall hard.
into the wall. We saw Will Moore cut the grass. Camerata hard into the wall at the top of the hill.
We saw him lock up the brakes the first time. I'm wondering if that had anything to do with it. If he's just not comfortable on the brakes, and he would mess something up real bad there. He went off really hard. Some left front damage, but I mean, for how hard he hit, it's not that bad. He's gonna pit though, yeah.
Nicholas Lamb, Keith Ayers also just came down.
Some of the last few who had not pit.
Cofield.
Looking back at what happened, it looks like he's going up the hill, and he just gets loose. The rears lose traction, and he just hits the wall. So, just a case of right at the crest of the hill, the rear tires lose grip, and there's just no weight on it, and it spins it.
I think Camerata's still on pit road.
I wonder if he took a faster pair when he got that little bit of damage on his rear end earlier, and now he's trying to just get it fixed. Because that was a pretty hard hit. I'm wondering, it didn't look bad. I'm wondering if it really hurt the steering on that car. And that's a big hit. He was one of the faster guys out there. He was starting to make his way back up through the field. But it looks like that's pretty much going to be a day ender for him. Even if he does make it back out on track, he'll be a couple laps down. And the field is just about completely spread out here. No, and that was Camerata's truck is blown up sitting on pit road, so that's definitely going to be the end of his day.
Will Moore. See, Will
That might
Moore
have been-
jumped to the pits incident with the
That might have
8.
been. That might have been Will Moore. Then it might have been his engine. I know I heard an engine. I didn't know he jumped the pit road. So I think that was him. He's gonna have a day over.
We can rewind a little bit and see what happened.
It's a little loose there and gathers it. Oh, and then it's loose again, and he's gonna hit the wall hard right here. Yeah, that was definitely his engine that we heard blow up.
Jonathan Gofield ran just a little wide before the downhill there. Nothing too serious, but had most of the truck in the grass. Didn't affect him too much.
Yeah, and we even saw him when he made that pass for the lead. He was using all of the track, so he's getting the most he can out of this truck. And I mean, it's showing in lap time. He's like three or 4 seconds faster than really anybody else on track right now. Really lengthening that gap. As second place is just entering turn 1, and he's about halfway. He's just about to get to the chicane up here. Matter of fact, he's getting close to lapping P5 up here. Kevin Stanley really having a good day. Kevin Stanley up in 5th. Pretty quiet day. Nothing flashy, but P5, that's a great day here at a road course. Looks like Will Moore back out on track to use his fast repair, and now he's battling with Jeffrey Smith for position. Some lap downs though. Gonna look to the inside. He's gonna make that pass work. He's really gonna send it in there. He's going to make that pass work. The 96, ooh, trying to use the bumper. The 8 is going to pull away pretty easy after the 96. The 7 is going to spin in front of him. He's off track. He gathers it back up. That was close. He was stopped on track for a second there when he spun. And that's from P3. He's not going to lose anything since P4 is so far back, but he was not too far off second if second made a mistake, but now I think if second makes a mistake, to be able to get right back on track.
Mark Gofield has recovered to P4 after leading super early and then falling back after two separate off tracks.
Yeah, and these top 4, 3, 4, 5 have really done a great job today keeping the car relatively clean. I mean, we saw Mark Gofield slow down early, have some kind of problem, go off track, but other than that, these front few guys, I mean, this is what road course is all about, just keeping it consistent. As I say, talking about being consistent, these guys in the back is just the opposite. The guys in the front are keeping it on track, being consistent, but the guys in back, as we see with Will Moore and Jade Burr, just keep going off track, and it's sending them just further and further back in those standings on track. Looks like he's just going to tap the wall there. Nothing too crazy.
closer to lapping P5, truck number 5 of Kevin Stanley Jr.
And Kevin Stanley would be real smart here to just, whenever he has a chance, let him right by. You know you're not going to get a caution. Just let him by when you can. I think right here is probably going to be the best spot for him to do it. Once you get on the straightaway right here. And that looks like exactly what he's going to do. Just let him right by. Smart move for Kevin Stanley, having a great day in 5th. Don't want to give it up battling the leader, where the position doesn't really matter.
Anthony Camarado's in the wall.
That's some big damage right there.
Jeffrey Smith off track as well.
He's been off track a few times now, and no real damage to his truck yet, but keeps doing that. He's gonna find himself on the wall here or there.
Camarado's bringing it down pit lane.
Yeah, I think he's got a lot of damage on that right front. I think it's really hard for him to drive. I don't know if he has that faster pair left. He was down pit road and stayed there for a while last time. So that looks like it's going to be a no on the faster pair. So good. The good news for him is everyone behind him is out of the race. And if he does leave now, he can't lose anymore.
There's the 5 of Kevin Stanley. Hot turn 1, locked it up out into the grass.
Doesn't look like he's gonna lose anything. 6th place is still right at the start finish line, a little ways back, so he has that cushion.
This race might give the Chevy, Ford, and Toyota manufacturers some ideas. Start producing some lawnmowers.
Yeah, right? These guys have been all over the grass. Not too many have hit the wall. Oh.
Will Moore.
Oh, and Will Moore.
Will Moore. That's the other. It's the 99, I believe.
Wallace. Brandon Wallace?
I think Wallace has parked it. So yeah, that was Charles Irwin and Will Moore.
See that, and 3rd and 4th have managed to find each other. Charles Irwin going off track there is going to put Mark right on his bumper. Mark Cofield's a lot faster. I think Charles Irwin is not liking how his tires are feeling right now. He's quite a bit slower. Or if it's just because of that off track, it hurt his tires just a little bit. He's gonna pull away a little bit to Mark. You can see the 96 stop there.
Kevin Stanley
That's
was
a
involved, I believe, as well.
It's on that little straightaway between turn 4 and the bus stop.
Damage to the left front of the 5.
No, we say he had that really good buffer. I mean, that's starting to slide away just a little bit. He's still got some room behind. but
5 down pit lane, along with the 96.
yeah, those were the two involved there. I wonder if he's gonna try and get it fixed.
Charles Irwin around, backs it hard into the wall on the S's.
Yeah, and he had pressure coming from behind with those 4 trucks. That's the leader right there. And Will Moore. And then for position was Mark Cofield. Just spun going into the bus stop with that pressure behind. And man, we're talking about everybody else. Jonathan Cofield has just been driving through the field a second time, lapping through 4th with Charles Irwin off, and almost up to 3rd now with Mark Cofield.
I'm going to select the camera to focus on some crashes for a moment as I do have to step away. So go ahead and commentate on anything that you see, even if my camera doesn't see it. And I'll shout out in just a moment.
I wonder here if we'll see Mark let Jonathan get around. I mean, saw him working pretty nice early in the race. But you're in P3, you want to kind of see what you have against the leader. It doesn't really matter at this point, but it's always fun. Jonathan's going to set up the pass here, try to get that run as he gets it. He's going to set up to the inside, probably make this pass. Mark probably let him have it as Mark backs off really early. Lets the 58 go right around him. Now for him to pass Zapata in second and lap the field, it's going to take quite a bit, as Zapata is probably about 20 seconds up here. It would take Zapata to make a couple mistakes, but it would be something to see. I mean, if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be the one of Jonathan Cofield. Mark Cofield right now in 3rd. I mean, I keep saying it, good run. You see Moore get loose there. But it's going to be a good points day for the 97. As long as he keeps it straight. Looks like Will Moore coming down pit road right behind him. Ooh, the 75 is going to spin and get hard in the wall, both sides of the truck. Just a tough day. I mean, he's staying out there. He's up to 9th, so he is gaining spots by staying out there. He's going to spin again. No, he saves it. I mean, I give him credit. He's up 2 spots from when he first had that really bad crash earlier. But, hey, he's gaining spots. I can't blame him. He's doing a great job at just sticking in there with the road course. Doesn't seem to be quite his thing, but give him props. The props are due. It's like Jeffrey Lamb coming out of pit road. Or Nicholas Lamb coming out of pit road. Making a need a pit stop there. Come out in P7, just behind the leaders. You see a little bit of dirt on track there through the bus stop. Looks like it's cleaned up through the racing line. A little bit on this little stretch here, and I think that's what caused that first stack up with Camerata and Will Moore. It was just a little bit of dirt on track, and it just spins the tires. A lot less grip when it's there, especially here at road courses. It doesn't really matter too much on ovals, as not much dirt gets on track and it'll be cleared really quickly. But here on road courses, different lines, you're really running back and forth across the track. Not much grip, especially on a flat track like this. Lamb trying to get by Mark Cofield here on those better tires. Just see all the dirt down there from the various spins and off tracks through there. As we've got Camerata and Will Moore. The 97 is going to make his way down pit road, making another pit stop. Looks like these guys are going to need 2 pit stops here. Will Moore and Camerata, 8th and 11th, not for position. But pit stops are starting for the front few. Mark Cofield taking left sides right now. Putting right sides on. Going to do left and right sides and get out of pit road. Still P4, so if this was unscheduled, he is still in P4 with Keith Ayers just behind by 5 seconds. Kevin Stanley back 11 seconds from him.
Anthony Camerata hard into the wall again.
And we saw him trying to stay with the 8 there. You were gone. The 97 did pit again. I'm thinking they're going to have to make 2 pit stops. Because he did not go off track. We were watching him with the battle right there with Lamb, and there was no contact or anything unless he just didn't put fuel in it the first time. These guys are all going to have to make another stop, I think. He did hit the wall just now. I don't know how many times he can fix the truck and come back out. I was saying earlier while you were gone, Jade Feathers, I don't know if you were here, it did hit the wall pretty hard, and he's up in 9th place, so you gotta give him credit for staying out on track even with the awful day he's having, to be frank. But 16 people started. He's probably the worst on track today, but still P9.
Yeah, sticking it out, even with how tough it's been on track. All the people that have disconnected and wrecked out, gonna beat them. And that point situation I mentioned earlier, Jade needs every point he can get.
We say about this league, these guys really stick out the races, and it pays off for the guys who stay. They gain so many points. I mean, it's not so many points, but it adds up come season's end. When you miss the playoffs by 2 or 3 points, you think, oh, what if I stayed during Bristol? What if I stayed during Martinsville? Those early races when you think, it's early. But Jade Feather's doing it here and gaining at least 5 points.
Check back in with our leader, who has lapped everybody but the pace car at this point.
What I'm seeing right now, Mark Cofield goes off in the bus stop. He has to slow down a little bit, just straight through it. Nothing, didn't hit the wall or anything, but he had just passed Zapata down the little straightaway there. He is quicker than him right now on these new tires, and he's gonna have to try and make that pass again.
That's not a battle for position either. So it's not something he needs to get done.
But something that it could be is he's second, Zapata's second, and if everybody needs to make a pit stop, Mark Cofield has already done it and is trying to run as fast as he can to jump these guys, and he just lost 4 or 5 seconds with going through there after making the pass already. So he was already past him and then got off track, so he's really going to be kicking himself if the 24 comes down to pits and then beats him off pit road. He's going to be looking back at that moment. Jeffrey Smith off track again in the bus stop chicane. He's back to rolling. You see Jonathan Cofield still running 58-second laps. I mean, his pace is incredible. Just, he's not on pace to lap the field. He's getting closer and closer to doing that. He's only got one more to go. And that would be Javier Zapata, who is just now entering the chicane, and right now Jonathan Cofield's on the straightaway leading up to it, so
The speed has been remarkable out of the 58.
and even though this is one of the shorter road courses, as Zapata's going to make a pit stop, he's coming in. Now we'll see. We'll watch between Mark Cofield and Javier Zapata where they come out. Ooh, is that Lamb?
This Lamb still going around
Ooh.
the top of the hill.
Yeah, I think he felt himself going around. I think he felt himself going around at the top of the hill and then gassed it back up knowing he was coming back into traffic. Good job from him there not to collect anybody behind. That was a close one there. So technically now as we run, Jonathan Cofield has lapped the field. That's until he pits. Well, we were talking about how close the the 24 and the 97 were. Well, Javier Zapata came out about half a lap ahead, so it didn't matter as much as I thought it would. These guys are a lot quicker on pit road than I thought. As the 58's coming down pit road, make his stop. And that pit road, we haven't talked about it. You can see it's a really hard right turn there. Got to get the truck way slowed down. Pit road speed here is about 35 miles an hour, so I think that thing slowed down after coming off a really fast corner. Hearing on the radio, it sounded like Zapata was confused as to how he just passed the leader. I think he forgot that.
Crashed and jumped to the pits. Sorry to cut you off.
Oh,
Looks like he just got loose through one into the grass and felt like calling it a night.
ooh! Almost hits Charles Irwin. Going off track is Charles Irwin up in the bus stop. That's going to give it to Javier Zapata. No, I'm calling it before it happens.
Yep, I rewound a little bit, so we're a little behind you.
But now we get to watch it live.
7.
And then he goes off even more. And he had just... Well, he hasn't pit again yet, so that doesn't really matter, but it could have been a really big moment for Zapata. You see Jade Burr get out of the way. And Jade Burr is he's gonna demolish I think he demolished those turtles and then it upset the truck so much it just sent him straight right into those tires. Probably lucky he hit the tires, 'cause it looks like he's going to try and get going again.
Wait for a clear
Still,
spot to do so.
still P9, so you can still limp this home for a good finish, relatively speaking. Still a few guys to make a pit stop. But unless Jonathan Cofield goes off track and destroys the truck for the night, he pretty much has this in the bag. The real fight, I think, is for second and third, but Charles Irwin even then still has to make a pit stop.
Now, with everything we've seen tonight, there's definitely a lot of pure pace there. But I gotta give some of the dominance to all the off tracks. It seems like he's been the only one to not make a mistake. I feel like the dominance could be a little bit lessened by less incidents from the rest of the field. But
I mean, second place
have quite a gap.
Second place was Zapata. We've seen him off track and a couple times, and I mean, just third place alone with Charles Irwin has been in multiple just contact incidents, and then a couple off tracks. So yeah, the 58 just keeping it on track. I mean, he is definitely the fastest truck right now after taking tires. Just ran a 56.6, and then at the end of that run ran like a 58. So he's not really falling off on times, but even like you said, it's just consistency, just staying on track. And I think he's pushing extra hard here, as out his front windshield we're looking on right now at the 24. That is, he's going for it. He's going to try to lap the field. The 24 is the last car he has to get by to make that possible. And he's closing in. He's making it, trying to make it work. Be quite the feat. I mean, we've seen him dominant everywhere else. We've been talking about the field's catching up to him just a little bit, but road courses, if he can lap the field, that would be a huge bragging right, as if he didn't have enough already going into this. You see how wide he takes it there on the left side, and it just allows him to carry so much speed through that chicane. A little loose there, has to correct, but right now he's running about a second, about half a second quicker than Javier Zapata, and he's 4 seconds back, so he definitely has a chance if this pace keeps up. It'd be fun to watch if he gets up to him, see how hard Javier Zapata runs him. As right behind this, the battle for 6th and 7th heating up. This is for position late in this race. Keith Ayers starting in the back, making his way all the way up to 7th, looking for 6th here. Add a couple spins. He's going to push the issue here on the 37, get right up to his bumper. The 37 is going to get a little bit better of an exit. Keith Ayers just so good on the brakes. And then the 37 backs it up a little bit. It's going to get a good run out of the corner. 17 runs a little bit wide. I don't want to look away now. The one is her Cofield starting to catch up to Zapata, but we do have this race going on for position. Jonathan Cofield stuck behind a little bit of lap traffic. Zapata's going to pull away just a little bit. And it looks like Keith Ayers starting to fall back a little bit to this fight. Jade Bergen on everybody's way up to 8th place now. We were talking about how that gap was 4 seconds. Now it's down to 1.7 for that first and second. With only 9 laps to go, he's running out of time, but he is catching him quick. Right now, about a second quicker a lap. No other battles happening on track right now, so stay on board and see if he can do it. Zapata's running really wide through that corner. But he's holding on now. I think he sees that Jonathan's in his mirror and he doesn't want to give it up.
You see the gap closing, the braking zones. Jonathan's just got it nailed to where he's so much later than almost everybody.
Yeah, and I don't think Zapata really cares how hard he runs. 3rd place is over half a lap back, so even if he does make a mistake, as long as he doesn't kill the truck, he should be able to keep it. As he runs wide there in the grass, the 58's going to get right around him. I think the 24 got in the grass and just decided it's not worth it. And that's going to make it so Jonathan Cofield has lapped the field with 7 to go.
Extremely dominant race today from the 58. We've seen it before, but lapping the field at a road course, that's something else.
I think I've seen it in one other league. I think it was only up lapping through 2nd place. Didn't quite get 2nd. I think this might be the first time I've ever seen it done, and it just speaks volumes of just how good Jonathan Cofield is. And I mean, that's got to put a huge boost of confidence. He came in here in this league saying, I'm probably not going to run it, probably not going to make every race, but ever since he told us that, he's been here every single race, and I imagine he's looking for that championship this year. And he's got the Roval in the playoffs. And I mean, that track is crazy. It's kind of the opposite of this. There's some elevation change, but it has a lot of walls really close to the track. We'll see if he's good there. I mean, coming up is the next road course. Forget which one. The Glen.
Next 2 races are IRP and Watkins Glen. So another road course before the regular season ends at Richmond. And then the round of 12 starts with Darlington, Bristol, New Hampshire. So they hit Bristol a 2nd time. Race 2 of the round of 12.
I'm really excited for that one. We were talking early in the season how these guys are just causing cautions. And they weren't even that bad. They were kind of just single car spins and just kind of trying to learn each other. And now that we've learned each other, these races have gone a lot more green. And I think we're going to see a good race out of both Bristol and Martinsville. Martinsville I'm still kind of weary about. Even the best chemistry filled leagues can't run a Martinsville race, so
Yeah, that round of 8 starts with that Charlotte Roval. They hit the super speedway at Talladega and the short track of Martinsville, so they really check 3 out of the 4 possible track types in one round.
yeah, and that'll bring them into the next round. That'll really test how rounded you are as a stock car racer, not even an oval racer. You got to be good in all disciplines, and I mean, today's NASCAR, did you see the 58 destroy that curb?
Probably the only mistake he's made all night. With 5 to go, lapped the field. Not going to matter. So we'll check in with 5 to go. So the dash for cash was up for grabs between Kevin Stanley and Keith Ayers and Jeffrey Smith. Javier Zapata was still slightly in it. Camarada's definitely out of it. Reginald Harris, Wilmore, Tyler Johnson out of it. So as it sits, Javier Zapata does lead it.
If real quick you just want to flip over to 6th and 7th. That battle's heating up just a little bit. Keith Ayers reeling Nicholas Lamb back in, but it's not close yet. I've just seen it's getting a little closer the fast few laps, so I think we got time to talk.
So yeah, Javier Zapata currently leads it. That would give him 8 points up to 16 total. And then the next highest is that Kevin Stanley. Kevin Stanley would get 7. That'd put him at 19. So that would be above Zapata. So Kevin Stanley, I think Keith Ayers would get 6. That'd be at 17. So it looks like Kevin Stanley's currently gonna lead it. We'll put that all together before we get IRP taken care of. We'll get that confirmed and hopefully announced at the beginning of the IRP stream. As it looks, race 3 winner would be Zapata, who would get the cash for the race, and then the overall prize of $100 should go to Kevin Stanley. Because Jeffrey Smith is a little ways behind. He was the leader coming in, but he would only get 5 points up to 18. So yeah, I still think Kevin Stanley gets to 19 and wins it if it stays the way it is for these final 3 laps.
All right.
See Nicholas Lamb.
Oh, Lamb goes off. That's going to give Keith a really good run. And this is for P6. He's going to get to his inside here. Oh, not quite.
Backed out. Didn't want the shallow, short shoot through that corner. You want to swing that one a little bit.
Yeah, you want to get as much as you can out of this corner right here. They get it pretty even. Both of them running about the same speed right now down the straightaway. Keith Ayers, I mean, he's all over the back of the 37 in this braking zone in turn 1, and then the 37 is just a little bit better on the whole track. As these guys battle, this is going to be Jonathan Cofield coming to 1 lap to go right now. These guys still battling back here. The only battle on track. Keith Ayers going to have to make something happen here if he wants it. Ooh, he gets loose. That's really going to end his chances, I think.
They're still going to have their final lap.
Ooh, he gets really loose right there. Really hung it out.
Keith
And that's
all
going
he's got to try and get that last position.
That's going to put him really far back.
There's our leader, Jonathan Cofield, coming around for the final time.
Not a turn 8. Down the hill. Down into turn 9. Down. Now down the front straight.
And he's going to win it. Jonathan Cofield yet again. Victory at Lime Rock. Tune back into this as it wraps its way up. Nicholas Lamb appears to have it under wraps as they're through the toughest part of the track.
We watch this. Javier Zapata is going to pass right now for second across the line. And this battle is going to go across 7th, 6th, and 8th.
Cofield picks up a playoff point with a P3. Rebounds from leading in unfortunate spins to slide back onto the podium.
And I think when you lap the field, you have to do 1 extra lap. So I think Jonathan Cofield did 1 extra lap than everybody else today. And that's a pretty cool stat.
I think it's everybody did less than he did. I think he did 75. Anybody
Yeah.
lap down only did 74.
He parks it at the start-finish line. And burns it down in the grass.
race
well,
winner, Jonathan
well
Cofield.
deserved burnout.
And that was just a complete show of dominance.
We see
from
Stanley doing some
Jonathan
burnouts
Cofield.
with him. Like Stanley knows he's won that $100.
Yeah, Kevin Stanley down there. I believe that is confirmation. We get the 99% confirmation here. Kevin Stanley wins the overall Dash for Cash prize of $100. Javier Zapata did take home the prize for the night, being the highest finisher of the race in P2. So good congratulations to Kevin Stanley for being the most consistent of the 8 drivers over those 3 races to bring home the $100 cash prize. Jonathan Cofield, like we said, absolute dominance for the race, just burning it down in that 58 Chevy Silverado, the filmy Chevy Silverado. See all the sponsors down there at the bottom. We got SM Racing Products, Sim Shop, Cofield Asphalt, Cofield's Appliance Service. I believe there's something in there. SM Racing Products, we'll say it for them. Go get yourself a button box. I think they got a code for that. Previous broadcast, go check out any interview with Jonathan. They got a code for you for a little bit of a discount.
Well, if you've listened to any of our broadcasts, I think we've talked to him just about every single week he's raced. So we've learned his sponsors, that's for sure.
I'm trying to find the right button here. Things are... Well, that was the first road course race of the season. I believe everybody but Jonathan had, incidents of off track and through the grass and hitting those bumps through the S's. But overall, it wasn't a bad night. It's not like there were bad moves on anybody. Just seemed like a lot of overheating the tires, and then things got slippery.
I do want to say, I'm looking at incident counts right now. Jonathan Cofield only had 1, and the next closest to him that had finished the race would have been, I think Mark Cofield. Nope. Javier Zapata with 10. And shout out to Jade Feathers for 45 incident points.
Still bringing that truck home P8.
Oh, yeah.
Stay there. 8 out of 15. 16th place didn't start the race, so 15 trucks. So should get a little bit of points there.
We've said it since the start. If you stay in these races, you can gain those positions back. And with how much he was off track, I mean, he proved it just not disconnecting. You'll gain some spots.
Well, we're not going to have, for tonight, any interviews from the top 3 or any extra interviews. So we'll just send it into reading off our final full results page. Jonathan Cofield, you see the +1 lap or more for the entire field. Javier Zapata, Mark Cofield, Charles Irwin stayed 1 lap behind. Kevin Stanley, Nicholas Lamb, Keith Ayers all stayed 2 laps down.
Then we go with Jade Feathers in 8th, Will Moore 9th, Anthony Camerata 10th, Jeffrey Smith 11th, Brandon Wallace 12th, Andrew Kiesler 13th, Jeremiah Holt 14th, and I don't believe those bottom 2 started the race. 15th and 16th are Tyler Johnson and
came
Austin
out of the
Miota.
pits and
that's right.
completed. I'm seeing a completion of 0.87 laps. Didn't even complete a lap, and then ended up parking it.
Because we mentioned how he had the same paint scheme as Lamb, so.
And then Miota in the 16 must have got out into practice, got the name in the registry, wasn't liking what he was seeing, and decided not to run the race. So solid night for everybody who stuck it out. Even the ones that didn't made it as far as they could and did all right during that time. Dominance from Jonathan Cofield yet again is really the story of the night. And now we look forward to the IRP next on the schedule.
Believe it is.
Get 125 laps at IRP. And then we head to another road course with Watkins Glen. And then round out the regular season with Richmond for 150 laps before we get into the playoffs.
And I am excited for IRP. I mean, it's been a while since we've run a short track with these guys. They've finally gotten that chemistry. So running that short track, I'm hoping we get some green flag runs in there. And IRP in the truck is definitely a fun track.
Absolutely. Well, that is going to do it tonight for MC Motorsports Broadcasting, live from Lime Rock Park with the Worldwide Racing League, their truck series first season. Great group of guys here. Love watching them every week. But, you know, on to next week and see if we get any new winners or if Cofield continues his dominance.
Yeah, definitely excited for it.
I'm Jonathan Casebeard. That's been Michael Matta. Again, MC Motorsports Broadcasting. That is going to be all